Hello everyone. Just making a video to sort of explain where I've been for nearly a year and why I've suddenly decided that the channel, it's time to come back. I know nearly every video where I've got on camera, I start off with apologising for things, but I think given the circumstances, it's probably best to do that in this one for sure. So I'd just like to apologise for how long we've been away and the fact that I've been largely ignoring even comments on the channel. I've got my reasons, which I'm going to go through in a minute for you, but there really is no reason for that. That's just pure badness on my part, and I do apologise for just ignoring comments. So, where have I been, and why have I not been making videos? Um, the short answer is laziness. The long answer is mostly laziness. Uh, I don't know how many of you make videos or know people that make videos. Um, the editing. The editing just slows everything down for me. Researching, writing, recording, finding the pictures, brilliant. Absolutely love it. It's then the hours upon hours of editing, especially I've never edited anything before I started this channel, and as you've probably noticed, I'm not very good at it. So it takes me probably 4 times as long as it would a normal person who's done it before and sort of is into it. So that slowed everything down, and that was just it was just killing my passion for doing it, and I just after a while I just couldn't face it for the past near 12 months now. Um, there was that, and it was twinned with the work I do. I sort of standing up for 8 9 hours a day. I was just couldn't face coming home and basically doing a second job at that point in time. Um, but now I'm thinking of moving on from that place to a more sort of settled place. I'm hoping the passion will come back. Well, that's an incorrect thing to say. The passion is back. I want to carry on. I may have to sort of stubbornly, pig-headedly bash my way through the editing I don't want to do at times, but I just want to come back. There's just so many more history and stories from the area I want to tell. So please also forgive me if I keep looking off to whichever corner of the screen it is for you. I've got notes up on the side, and I just keep glancing to see what I need to say next. So those were the main things that sort of ended the channel, shall we say, put the channel on hiatus. That's probably a better way of putting it. Um, there was also the case of how this channel went, that it was on like 20 subscribers for quite a while, and then in the case of about 3 weeks, it exploded to 5,000, which grew to 7,000. That was a bit daunting, as you'd expect. And then it just sort of stagnated, and that was sort of um, but I've been thinking on it. As much as I've not been here, I've been thinking about the channel a lot, and honestly, I'm happy with where the channel is. If it got to 10,000, that would be amazing, but I honestly can't see it going much above 10,000 ever. So if we sort of set that for the ultimate goal, we're doing well, and I think that's how we'll go through. On the state of the channel, I have to say I have been surprised that other than about sort of 20 here and there, we've sort of maintained fairly level with where we were with subscribers. We've lost people, but we've also gained people, and the views per week are also roughly staying the same. So this content is interesting to people, and it's just me basically need to crack on with it and get more done. Um, yes, because it's my drive to carry on with the channel for sure. Inspired by a great number of things, some negative, some good, some bit of a mix. If you've seen any of my other sort of talking videos, you'll probably have seen me saying that how often the history in this area is just ignored and gone over. And I saw one, it was sort of like the final kick that pushed me back into the channel a few weeks ago on television. It was that, oh God, what's it called? Railway. Great British Railway Journeys with Michael Portillo. He comes to Norwich, and I think he spends maybe 30 seconds here. This is the train station. I'm staying at this hotel. Oh, off I go again. Okay then. So that was sort of the like, final push to no, come on. There's stories around here that need to be told. Someone's got to tell them. If the bigger places aren't, it's up to us here on YouTube, and to tell these kind of stories of the areas we live in. The other main thing that's really sort of pushed me back, and it's a bit of a sad one, but one with a silver lining, I think would be best to say. Towards the end of last year, my grandfather passed away. He was in his 90s. It wasn't a shock for any of us, particularly. But he was a great influence on me on history, and he was one of the people that got me interested in it, really. It was him and documentaries by Richard Holmes, who, weirdly, I believe the day Richard Holmes died is actually my grandfather's birthday as well. So it's a weird sort of connection there. Yes, so unfortunately he passed away, and it was hearing his stories that got me interested in like the personal levels of history and people's lives. And I think in some ways I want to carry the channel on to sort of carry on his spirit of storytelling and enjoying of history, because he was always reading books and that, and I've got a few of his old ones on my bookcase now. Um, yeah, so I don't want to dwell on that too much, but I'm looking on the positive side that we'll carry on his memory and his sort of ethos with the channel. Right, going forward with the channel, I do want to try and make it as good as it can be, uh, relative to my skills and knowledge. I'm going to do my best to get better at editing, video making, everything. The one thing I would ask on that is patience. This doesn't come easy to me. I'm not a particularly computer literate person, so that's going to take a lot more time than other channels of similar sizes and even smaller in a lot of cases are doing, which I'm probably sure you'll see if you watch more than like 3 videos. So it's going to take time, but we're going to get our heads around that. I'm also thinking of changing the sort of channel's logo, the Princess Mary Christmas tin. When I created it, when I first started the channel, I was thinking of doing general history. Of course, there's a lot of people out there doing that, and I quickly found that just doing the local stuff is far more interesting to me, and there's a far lot less out there where you're not treading on people's toes and seeming like you're stealing from larger people saying the same things as you are. Here it's a little bit more refined, which I'm happy with. But obviously the First World War tin no longer really fits the attitude of the channel, so I'm going to try and find something that's sort of a little bit more general to what we now do. And on the topic of trying to look more professional, one of the things I'm really going to try and improve is the lighting on kind of videos like this. I had everything set up, and it looked quite nice in here at that point. I then had to nip out and get something quickly. By the time I came back, the sun had gone in, and we are now dealing with what we've got here. Uh, it's just basically the house lights on and a little bit of sun that's coming through between the rain at the moment. So try and work something out and maybe get some better lamps. I've got a bedside lamp here, but it's not doing anything anyway, so I've turned that one off. Other future plans for the channel itself, and also expanding it a bit into other areas. I've not made any in a long time because they were not what people on the channel wanted, which fully understand. Fully, yep, absolutely fine, no problems with that. But I do quite enjoy sort of historical films, games, various things like this. So I'm possibly thinking of at some point making a second channel where I'll cover those kind of things if they're not connected to the local area. So I think a great example for that is a film like The Dig that came out a couple of years ago about Sutton Hoo. I did review that briefly. That is the kind of film that would be reviewed on the main channel, as it was set in Suffolk. Yes, it wasn't filmed there, though, was it? Not properly set in Suffolk. But another general one wouldn't be because it's not connected. It'd just be something I want to talk about. It just keeps it separate and makes people go, "Well, I don't want to see this. Why is it on my feed?" That way, everyone's happy as far as I can see. Now I know what you're probably thinking. How's he going to run 2 channels when he can't even run one? It's a very good point, and I agree. And we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But that channel would be touched fairly infrequently, only when I'm feeling like it. I don't watch many new films anyway at the moment anyway. As much as obviously a lot of the pictures I use in my work come from various sources online, and of course, if you go into the description, you can find where I got them from. I do always try and credit people for that. We are now starting to get through to some where I've taken in various locations or various objects I owned anyway to fit into the storyline. What I'm thinking for that is a lot of these things you're only going to see them once or twice, maybe for a couple of seconds on the screen. Possibly thinking of opening a Instagram account just to put these up there so you can take a better look at them and use it to sort of like supplement things you see in videos compared to that. So I'll try and work on that. I'm not sure if that's interesting in anyone. In fact, if you could sort of let me know in the comments if you think that's a good idea or if I'm just wasting my time with something like that. Because I don't want to set something up that's just going to sit there untouched and unlooked at by anyone anyway. I'm not trying to build a media empire off the back of this. It's just a side hobby of something I enjoy. Final thing on the future of the channel, and then I'll let you get back to your whatever the more important things you were doing today. The types of videos I do, I am thinking of expanding slightly. It will still be local area, of course. I'm not stepping outside of that for a long, long time. There's still so much to cover. I'm just thinking of starting to include sort of more legends and some folklore-esque sort of stuff, purely because I've got books it keeps coming up in. It does in many ways tie into history, especially when you get far back. Folklore and real history become just one mass, don't they, at times? I'm not giving the channel over to that kind of thing, and it wouldn't be a constant. It would just be like maybe 1 in 5, 1 in 6 sort of videos would be that. I think it's interesting in its own way, as I say, and a lot of times does sort of tie in with the history of that time period anyway. It's not turning into a paranormal channel or anything like that. The only time I'm ever going to touch ghost stories from the area is if it's a little side bit at the end. Like I've mentioned a couple of the killers who have been put to death in the castle, their ghosts are meant to haunt the place. I just think that's a little side note. It's just another little bit of information. The only time I will ever do strictly paranormal videos will be around Halloween, as I did a couple of years ago. And if I can get time to record it, possibly one that will come out on Boxing Days as sort of the traditional Boxing Day ghost story kind of thing. But other than that, the channel will stick fairly in the realms of the living, shall we say. That is all I have for everything in my notes. So I will just sort of say I'm really glad and really enthusiastic to be back and getting into this. And will be doing everything I can to improve the channel, both in terms of video quality and in the way I'm making them. So if any of you have any advice or tutorials that would be good for me to watch, please let me know, because I'd be very interested in getting back into that. So that is that. I hope you all have a very good day. I hope you've seen the video that's also come out today, my sort of return one, on the Great Yarmouth shoelace murder. If not, I will put a link up in the top of the screen so you can go and watch that now. So it's just finish off saying it's very nice to be back, and hope we can sort of hit the ground running and make up for lost time, as there's still so many more presentations I want to bring to you. So I hope you all have a very good day, a very good week, and well, a very good everything. And I will see you soon, and I will talk to you in the comments. Thank you.